Okay, you're ready to go.
Yeah. Well, we've just tasted the 2012 Branaire Ducru with owner Patrick Maroteau, and a few questions for him on the 2012 vintage, both the quality and the market. If you ask Patrick to sum up in half a dozen words the quality of 2012, what would they be?
I would like to say for the 2012, usually for the Branaire Ducru, and we like to classify the vintages by 4 different groups. The first one, which is a group of the outstanding vintages, and the second, the third, and the fourth. And definitively for us, 2012 should be to the second group. That means not an outstanding wine as for the 9 and the 10, but a very good wine as for the 2001, 2006, and 2011. And that exactly, and we are thinking about the position of the vintage, and which is for us, once again, a very serious vintage, and with very good characteristics, and great purity of the fruit. And the vintage is very, very well defined in terms of fruit, and it has a good freshness, and that is very important for us for the policy of Branaire Ducru, for the style of Branaire Ducru. And I think because it has a nice structure, and it should have a long ability of aging for sure. And it's definitively a very good vintage for us.
And would you make any comparisons with previous vintages? You mentioned, I think, 2001 and 2006 earlier on. But any stylistic comparisons, or would you be closer to 2011?
I think it's a classic wine, and with a lot of fruits. If I have to say just one word and to define the vintage, I would like to say it's a very elegant vintage. Because the purity of the fruit, and because the balance of the vintage, and which is very, very interesting. I think the vintage should be quite approachable compared to the 2001, which is today a great vintage. I'm a great fan about the 2001 for drinking now. But it needed time for being open. I think the 2012, it has perhaps more structure, or he has definitively a good structure, but I think the 2012 should be a little bit more approachable as the 2001 and the 2006.
That is a good appraisal of what you feel the quality to be in Branaire Ducru. And of course, from the market perspective and your knowledge of Bordeaux, past president of the Union de Grand Cru, which is all the collection of the great chateaus in Bordeaux, you've got a pretty good feel for the perception, the world's perception of Bordeaux and its place in the market. Unquestionably, as far as the UK is concerned, post-2010, there has been a lot of unhappiness, I think, with the way that Bordeaux has presented itself, both in terms of price and in terms of feel for the market. What do you think Bordeaux needs to do to regain the love of its loyal customers, and also to attract new customers?
I think definitively Bordeaux is very popular all over the world, and I would like to say by the quality of the wine and by the freshness, and for sure, and we have a weather and where we can make a very fresh wine, and I think it's very important, very interesting compared to some place all over the world. But for sure the question is also about the price for the Bordeaux wine today. I think that my policy for the Branaire Ducru, I think we have to respect a great value for money, and that for me very, very important. And today we have, as you know, a different price to the market, and some wine are more expensive, depend. But if I look at the policy for Branaire Ducru during the last few years, every year, we try to respect a good value for money. When we had an exceptional vintage as for the 9 and the 10, and for sure, and we increased the price, but I think we were reasonable. And for the 2011, we decreased the price and quite substantially. And I think last year we had a good value for money. And for sure, my policy for the future, and I think it's the policy for most of the producers from Bordeaux, it's to be fair and with the price and to the market, and definitively the 2012 and should pay attention about the crisis, about the difficulty of the economy, and personally I will try to find the right price depending about the different points and we said before.
A lot of interest, fascination, has been exhibited by Château Latour's move away from the en-primeur market. What do you think about that move, and do you have any intention of following suit?
I will be very short in my answer, and I'm not in the first group. I can make the same policy for the future, and for us definitively, and we think that the en-primeur campaign is the best way for us, for our category of wine. And honestly, I don't have a very precise idea about the new policy of Latour. We will see, and for sure, and we will pay attention about that they are doing. But I don't know if it's the right decision or a bad decision, and it's definitely a problem for the top wines.
Now, I'm bound to ask this question, and it's always difficult to ask it of somebody who is owner of one of the great properties on the left bank. But would you say, and perhaps you haven't tasted too much on the right bank, that it is more left or right bank vintage, in your opinion, at this early stage?
I tasted wine from the right bank and left bank, and because we had a big tasting a few days ago at the UGC for the Bordeaux trade. I'm sure that it was possible in 2002 to make a great wine everywhere. For sure, if I look at for the Branaire Ducru, the Merlot for us today is a little bit better as last year, and we have a better definition for the Merlot, and the fruit was better. But at the same time, I don't think that the Cabernet Sauvignon here at the Saint Julien appellation was less interesting as last year, and I think it's widely depending about the policy of the chateau, about the work we have done to the vineyard, about the timing of the picking, different things. But as you could taste by yourself, and the 2012 is a very round wine, and it has a good purity of the fruit, meaning that it was possible to make a great wine to the left bank as for the right bank.
Okay. And finally, and perhaps the most difficult question of all, I think 2011 didn't work very well as an en-primeur offering. I can't speak for Branaire Ducru in particular, but I think in Bordeaux in general, there's no question but that the campaign in 2011 was, I think, badly handled and incorrectly priced in many, many instances. How do you think 2012 is going to be priced in general? You commented a bit about Branaire Ducru, but in general, how do you think Bordeaux should price 2012?
Once again, I think it's quite difficult to answer precisely about your question, because it's so depending about the level of the price, and for sure, once again, I'm sorry to say the same thing, but the market in general, and I have to pay attention about the value for money, and because if the price is more expensive as for the wine you can find to the market and for the last vintages, it's not a good idea. And the price should be a little bit less as for that you can find to the market for the 2008, 2007, I don't know, for the last vintages. That for me the right decision for the price. But as you know, and we have more than 100 chateaux and in the en-primeur, and it's quite difficult to say in general Bordeaux have to move for a certain percentage, or it's quite difficult to say. And it was exactly the same for the 2009 and 2010. And some chateaux can go to a very important price. For some, they were a little bit less in terms of price. Depend.
So we would both agree then that we need to be guided by the market in 2012.
I think definitively every producer has to look at his own market and to try to know which is the price which will be good for the market. And because I know perfectly if we try to push the price and if the market doesn't find a good success and with the wine and the price, it's a bad idea.
Excellent. Patrick Maroteau, thank you very much.